Kids, do you like Monster Girl animes? Do you like big titty wolf girls who are totally not ripped off and redo of a healer? Do you love when your anime has worse lip tracking than old Chinese karate movies? Then boy do I have the anime for you. Miss Weeb from the Monster Development Department is a slow, sluggish anime that struggles to even maintain the attention of people for more than a few minutes. It's taking the hype of Monster Girls and the trend that's currently going on and just does it badly. This show's pretty basic. It follows the Monster Department team who works for an evil but incompetent organization whose whole goal is world domination. Why is it world domination? We don't know. We honestly don't know. It seems like this is actually literally just in a normal office building too. Where do they get their money from? Who knows? Look, the entire organization's niche is that they're actually really nice, like telling the people like, oh, it's okay that you botched your report. You're clearly overworked. Go on a vacation. The leader, who looks like all stoic, is actually just a normal little lolly who loves cute things and stuff. Like, we've seen this trope before, but hey, maybe the truly evil part is that they get all their funding from pharmaceuticals. Okay, maybe that's where the evil comes into play. But yeah, they develop monsters, they pitched the idea to get the funding, and they battled the totally not Power Rangers. The whole anime is a parody on multiple genres, but it doesn't say anything new, and the concept of ironic animes has been done to death, to the point where seeing an unironic isekai or unironic romance story or unironic anything is actually a breath of fresh air. It also does the cardinal sin to me, where people think that references and parodies of just making a bad Power Rangers spinoff is the joke in of itself. That's not how jokes work, people. Now don't get me wrong, parody is a great way to set up a joke. It's a great vehicle to get to a joke, but just because you have the Power Rangers but bad isn't a joke, all right? It's not funny. You're not funny. If you're gonna put yourself in the comedy tag, you should at least have a couple of jokes. This whole subverting the narrative isn't subverting the narrative where the good guys are actually not that bad or the bad guys aren't that good. If that's just kind of been the norm for the past couple of seasons, it's not like these concepts are inherently bad, but it's just the overplayedness of them. And the fact that this one just kind of plays it like any other parody anime has. The animation in this one is also exceptionally stilted. It's very bad to the point where I've never really seen animes in modern times in 2022 of all years using more still panning shots than this one. In fact, almost all the characters that you see have masks so that they don't have to animate the mouths moving. Yes, they are cutting the budget that much. And even when they do have mouths, they just don't animate them. Like this wolf guy in the boardroom, he's just there and he talks. He has a mouth. It's right there. We can see it. Unless this is a fursuit, why isn't his mouth moving when he's speaking? Are you that cheap? The walk cycles literally look like they're struggling. Like they're just bad. And I get it. This still took time and effort, and there were probably a lot of sleepless nights to get this out, and it was running with probably junior people who haven't been on too many projects, but just don't. I normally don't say that. I normally say like, hey, it's always great to create something, but this kind of energy and creativity could have been put to something better. I don't know. This is just honestly unanimated. You literally, if you wanted to save this much money, could have taken this budget and put it into a visual novel. All the twists and tropes that are in here we've seen before. The main big monster that they create, instead of being this bulking muscular guy, turns out to turn into a little girl, and it's because the head lolly in charge decided that, you know, guys aren't cute enough, so she gave him gender reassignment surgery, which I'm not just saying that as like a weird leftist word choice. He actually brings it up in the anime, which was super weird, that he has a male brain trapped in a female body. And of course, he's an exceptionally top-heavy, curvy female wolf, because why wouldn't he be? Now, I'm not gonna say that this has no place in the industry, but I'm gonna say normally when I'm doing these types of reviews for Dropped, I'm normally looking at it from the perspective of who is the intended audience and how well does it cater to them. And when I'm looking at this, I have to ask myself, is there anyone who I would recommend this to? If you're a fan of Monster Girls for their sex appeal, Well, even with the transgender wolf here, they censor heavily everything with giant logos. So I'm not sure anyone's finding any kind of appeal for this. If you wanted a nice little wholesome one, there's Everyday Life of Monster Girls, which is way better animated, it's way better paced, way better story. It's taking itself seriously, and you get to see some interesting ways in which the characters interact with the world. Like, for example, how do these centaur creatures get into their swimsuits? And it shows you the process in which they do it, and not in a pervy way, it's not in a sexualized way. It is literally just showing you how they would step into the swimsuit, how they would pull it all the way up, and it's exceptionally interesting to see. This does none of that. The writings, jokes, if you could call them that, and the entire plot feels more like something that I would watch on 4Kids Sunday morning. But the problem is the nudity, or lack thereof, is still stopping it from actually reaching that kind of target demographic. I could totally see kids watching this if it wasn't for that. Despite it being censored, it's still there, and if your parents were to walk in while you're a 13, 12, 10-year-old person watching this, they're immediately going to have a panic attack, call their nearest cable provider, and ask them to censor this video from going up. So it doesn't even fit in that kind of niche. The one thing I will say is that we did find a moment where the soundtrack was actually really interesting for all of 5 seconds. Look, if you're coming home from an 11-hour shift, you got like maybe 2 or 3 episodes of an anime you can watch before you're about to pass out. Just don't watch this one. There are a million other shows that you can watch. If you want to actually watch a good shonen show that's like Super Sentai or Power Rangers, there's a bunch of them. Watch Black Clover, watch Code Geass, watch anything else other than this. If you want wholesome Monster Girls, you can watch Everyday Life of Monster Girls. If you want something sexy, you can watch the one where the guy struggles with the sin of bestiality the entire series, okay? There are a bunch of other alternative shows that just does everything that this show is trying to do better. Enjoy the show for what it is. It is filler. It is the epitome of filler. It is, I have binged through everything. I just need background noise. I don't really care what I'm watching. This is what you would put on. There's no other way for me to describe it. It's not good as an introductory anime because there's plenty of other that introduces you to some of the common tropes of anime. And I'm not even sure I would start off with a parody of anything as some sort of introductory anime because you won't understand what they're satirizing if you don't know the common tropes and trend that anime tends to follow. If I'm giving this a rating, I'm giving this like a 4 to 3.5 out of 10. 5 is the basis of an anime. It's watchable, it's fine, it's good. This has moments that actively make it hard to watch. The things that they do to cut budget just make it boring. People like me who have at least mild ADHD were literally unable to stay interested in this. But hey, that's just my opinion. I'm only watching 1 episode. That's all we could stomach. And maybe it gets like just incredible after episode 1. Let me know down in the description if that's the case. But if you want my recommendation, this is a skip. Ain't nobody got time to watch 100 episodes before something gets good. But hey, I've been Faith and Moliminous. I love your faces, so I hope you at least like the video. And I'll see you in the next one.